it was only that Judie said the comparison that I pulled it up, because anybody that's listening that is comparing needs to remember on what day they're at and what chapter they're at and everything else, and not to let it stop them in their tracks. And just have fun with it.
Yeah, for sure. And day 1 to 45 is absolutely bleak, so good luck. So yeah, you gotta stick with it.
Hey, I'm Jay Woodard. I am a creative director, photographer and videographer of the Ed32 agency based in the south of Ireland in Cork.
Hi, I'm Judy Russell. I'm a video coach and founder of the Vid Academy.
Hi, I'm Jen Bryan, and I'm the co-founder and chief marketing officer of a digital marketing agency called Velocity Growth.
Hi, I'm Sian Horn. I'm a business mentor and coach. I'm also the founder of the National Network for Women in Business called The Club. And I also am the ambassador for Champion Green.
Hey everyone, so welcome back to this week's episode. This week's second round episode, we'll be candid about it, I guess. We've taken a lot of feedback on board, so we've looking at our audio quality and everything else. We're actually using a fantastic tool, Squadcast. I know we've mentioned it before, but it's one of those things where when we're all recording remotely, sometimes it takes a take two to get it right. So this is take two, but looking forward to digging in. So we'll kick off now this week with Sian. What was your highlight of the week?
Okay, so it's so funny actually. So I was looking at my notes from when we recorded this the first time, and I was like, I can't remember my highlight, but my highlight was kind of information. And then I thought, do you know what? Actually, I do have a really good highlight. And if you know this, then you've been looking at social. So my highlight this week was, this is not just another mince pie. This is a bite-sized deluxe Christmas mince pie. It was my highlight. I loved it. It was an ad done by Jay and Judie did the voiceover, and I love it. I'm all about Marks and Spencer's, and yeah, what a job. Thank you so much. You brought my Christmas to me early.
Oh, thank you so much. That's awesome.
The ad was fantastic, though. I was watching, like how it was shot, and Jay is really good for posting. When he posts his videos, he puts up in the description of how many frames per second he was shooting in and stuff like that. So it was 3 times slowed down, kind of with the lovely what's that called, flour going over the mince pie. And tell us, did you use actual sugar, or did you use kind of a different ingredient?
No, it was icing sugar. Yeah. We went. There was no need for the Motor Royal kind of secrets there and that kind of food shoot. It was just like powdered sugar, simple. Shot it at 120 frames per second, and then we slowed it down. But there must have been maybe 16 shots in total with outtakes, and it was 397 gigs. The footage was.
Wow.
So it's it just shows you the size. That's huge. And that's 16 shots, but it was shot on the FX6, the Sony FX6, which was beautiful.
Amazing.
And I don't know what you're talking about.
Sorry, so basically the Sony FX6 is a cinema camera, basically. There's films being shot in it. So to get that pristine kind of look at that speed and that, so a movie, let's say, is 24 frames per second. So you're seeing 24 images per second in a movie. Social media, they like to do 30 frames because it's kind of smoother, it's nicer. I went 120 and brought it way down and slowed it down. So
it was good. It was great.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was good fun.
That's amazing. I loved it. The voiceover absolutely cracked me up. I must have listened to it 10 times. I was like, this.
Yeah,
brilliant.
It just, because I didn't have an actress. I didn't have anyone. I was like, who the fuck am I going to get here? I was going to get my wife, and then Jules' voice is too squeaky, it's too high pitch. I love her, but it just goes a bit too high sometimes. And then we were doing the podcast, and Judy, I was sitting beside you, and then Judy was like, that's the bass I need. That's the tone I was looking for. So then I said, I think on the day, in fact, if you go back to the first episode, you can hear me saying, I actually need to talk to you about a project. I think it's in the first episode.
Nice.
So,
those husky winter tones come in good. And now I've got the worst cold, flu ever. So it's like I feel like Phoebe when she reenacted Smelly Cat.
And it was better with her husky voice. She's trying to stay sick. Very good. And what about you, Judy? What was your highlight of the week?
Highlight of the week was going into I got to go into a company this week, and I don't know, am I allowed to mention who the company was? I didn't get their permission, so I won't, but they're a really cool Cork-based company, and it was teaching their team how to make videos in-house, and they actually have their own set that they've created within their business, which looks incredible. So they just needed some kind of tips on, I suppose, storyboarding out structures of their videos, lighting, mics, all that kind of stuff, because they're almost there. Like they have it really, really close, but like it's not their job to be in video full time. So just bringing someone in for a half day session and kind of, you know, upskilling them a bit more was brilliant, because I just get so excited when I get to show people this stuff, and especially people who love it already, and they, you know, you could see that they're excited too, and I just leave with a pep in my step out of those situations. So that was really fun.
Nice.
That's amazing. Amazing. What do you think is the thing people are most excited about, or like like I find when I'm going in and doing workshops, there's 2 or 3 key pieces that I always end up delivering because I know it kind of excites people. Is there some kind of nugget that you always find people will take away that they're just excited about afterwards?
I think, well, the biggest one at the moment, and it changes all the time, probably like yours as well, but I love the showing people Adobe Podcast Enhance. Jay, now we spoke about this before, Jay doesn't love it. He thinks it makes people sound too digital. But what I'll do...
It has a place. It has a place. Definitely has a place.
I'll get someone 100%. To stand at the back of the room and speak to camera. So they'll be like, hello, my name is Judie, and I'm way at the back of the room and the camera's at the other side of the room. And I'll replay it for them, and it will sound absolutely terrible, right? Really too far away. And then I'll run it through Adobe Podcast Enhance, and it will sound like they are right up there speaking into a mic. Like, and it just, like, their minds are blown, because I don't know, Jay, about you, but like before there was no such thing as fixing it in post. I could never fix audio in post. This is the closest thing I've ever gotten to actually fixing audio afterwards, even though it's not perfect. I think it's really good.
Yeah, they've launched a new feature with it as well, like the little sliding scale, so you can turn up and down the, you know, the amount that they're kind of sounding like that.
That's what it was. That's what it was missing.
A nice feature.
Like, yeah, that's what it was missing. It was missing because it was giving you the 100%, and sometimes it would sound too fake and too fixed. So the fact you can slide it now is a godsend. Yeah,
absolutely. And Jay, what about you? What was your highlight of the week?
My highlight of the week was I am getting back into the narrative film space. So I got my short film script finished. Actually, I got to draft number 3 of it now since we spoke last. And it's moving along nicely, which is class. So it's looking like we're going to have to go up north to shoot for 3 or 4 days in March. Sian, I have a spot for you.
I'm waiting for the call, Jay. I've been waiting a week for the call.
So it's because where the idea it's set is, I don't know if people know what The Last of Us is kind of set in that kind of world. So we need kind of run down, overgrown kind of buildings and castles, or like just buildings and that kind of stuff. So we found a lot of places up north. So yeah, looking forward to it.
And Jay,
do you know what?
Sorry, go on, Sian.
So I was just going to say, I don't know if you saw, I shared something on talking about, you know, the film and everything else, and me teasing you. Teasing, kind of not teasing. Do you know what I mean? You know how I tease, but I'm like, give me a part. And there was a clip I shared it the other day, a little boy, Marlo, it's floating around TikTok and Instagram, and he's like got in the car and he's like, I've got a legendary part, mum, in you know, the nativity. And she's like, the 3 kings. And he's like, I'm like the innkeeper number 3, mum. Like he's
I think he's like the door person number 3.
Yeah. Or number 3 or something. I was like, everybody needs to be a little bit more like Marlo. Do you know what I mean? So I'm ready. I'll be tree number 3, Jay. I'm there.
Perfect.
Yeah, and how the mother kept it together in that video was beyond me. Like, you know, she's like, okay, so it's a key part. Mothers are very patient. But Jay, do you know when you come up with the ideas for short films, how do you, like, is it, are you driving along and the idea comes to you and then you're like, okay, now I got to get this down onto storyboard and try and make it real? Or are you actually trying to make a certain amount of short films per year and then you're forcing yourself?
It all depends. Not really. So like the last film I made was a Western. I shot it in Cork and we actually sold it to RTE, which was cool. They showed it and all kind of stuff, was class. But it's a matter of, if it comes into my head, I need to get it out fast because I will forget it. So I'll jot down the idea in my notes in my phone, whatever it is, and then I'll leave it sit there for a while, and then I'll come back to it and go, okay, what do I actually want to do with this? Where do I want to go? The idea that came from this one was myself and Leah and Penny Productions here in Tech 9. We wanted to work together on something in a spec ad, and we were listening just because we were both working away in the office and we had the Last of Us soundtrack playing. And I was like, let's do a Last of Us universe, but it's based in Ireland. Do you know what I mean? Like the fallout's happened, the world's falling apart, and we see that in the TV show and the HBO show, but we see it in America. We don't see the rest of the world. So we're going to give the Irish kind of version of it.
Cool.
Love it. My highlight of the week, my balloons are no longer here, but I did cross, well, I've gone past the 110 mark, or 110 mark now. I think it's at 112 this morning, but 6-figure mark on Instagram, which is a bit of a milestone. It'll slowly creep its way into what pissed me off this week in a moment as well.
Go for it.
If anyone saw my stories last night.
I did. The spammer, I did.
Yeah.
Jen, can I ask you something? So obviously with the algorithm, the way it moves, you know, we often see people hit a milestone and then suddenly the milestone just keeps going and going and going. And then there seems to be a level out and then you hit the next milestone. And then suddenly, like you say, you know, the other day you were just flipping over 100K and you've gone to 110. It's a matter of days. So is that the algorithm pushing you forward?
No, it's largely still attributed to the same post that went viral. So when we recorded this initially, I think it was at 6.5 million views, whereas this morning it's crossed 8 million views. So it's that video driving it. As soon as that video starts to taper off, I'll average my way back down again. But if I average the amount of followers I get per day since I started, it works out at about 560. But that comes in peaks and troughs.
Wow.
Cool. So for those that are looking, I suppose, to grow, is the understanding of as that peaks down a little bit, you expect to lose some followers?
No, I've not lost any, but I would expect to continue to at least gain more than I lose. Like since in the last 30 days, I've lost, I think, about 5,000 followers. But I've grown like 20 odd thousand. So it doesn't make any odds, but it's like that. You know the way people always think like, oh, you start a business and then you get that lovely up and to the right little angle when actually it's like, oh, here you go. It's crazy. You know, you've got like ups, you've got downs, you've got panic attacks, you've got great days, you've got, you know, the blend of everything in between. So it's the exact same as that. It's like, oh, you did a really good month in business and then the next one mightn't be as good. But the trick is like, okay, well now I think it's working out at about a 12% virality rate. So I have to do 100 videos for 12 of them to go viral. That's a lot of videos when you break it down. But like when I checked this about 30, 45 days ago, that was at 9%. So I am improving over time. So it just takes a little bit of time.
Yeah. And I think that's something really good to remember, you know, that talking about that 100 videos for 12, that 12%, like, you know, people often be like, but what do I do to make my video go viral? And it's like, it's not that. It's like, you have to be consistent. You have to put the time in. You have to put the numbers in to get a return.
Yeah. And it's not even about the numbers to like the volume for return. It's volume for learning. So like when I was doing 100 videos and only getting, you know, there was a time where it was like 104, 100 and only 7 and then 109 and now it's 112. It's because I'm slowly learning about what's performing. And that's what the value is in the blocks of 100 videos more so than the consistency I find.
But I think mindset piece for me is when people are saying to me, but this, I want to know which one of hers went viral and I'm just going to do that. And I'm like, no, that's not what it's about.
Yeah, I agree completely.
There's no cheat code either, the math wise, where, well, after 112, 12% go viral. If I do 15, one will go viral. That doesn't work like that either.
No,
it's not.
It's
not
you
that
have
at all.
to look at it at scale. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
Let's jump into what pissed us all off this week. So, Judie, I'll kick off with you. What pissed you off?
As you know, I was sick this week, and it was peaks and troughs of sickness as well. Like I was like, you know, day one I was like really bad, then day two I was like, I'm fine again, okay, and then overdoing it. You know, like actually, like as you can see, I have a new background in my office. Did I need to do that this week? No, I absolutely did not. But I was feeling the guilt of the being sick and being in bed the day before. I was like, I'll just do a 16-hour day and make up for the hours that I missed. And I was telling Jay as well, like yesterday I had to go back to bed again and spend spend a whole day in bed, and I just wake up every now and then with like a, am I supposed to be on a call? Oh God, have I missed something? And like, at the start of the day, I did go through my calendar and emailed everyone I needed to email, but like just and I'm so much better than I used to be, lads, in terms of stress levels and stuff like that. But it's still just pangs of like fear and worry that, like, as a sole trader, you're not allowed to get sick, kind of thing. And so yeah, it's been fierce. And then comes the depression after sickness. I don't know if any of you get that either, but like I was so sad earlier. I was like, why am I so sad? Because you're tired, because your vitamins are down, because you're low and stuff like that. So I'm trying just not to look into the eye of the beast at the moment. And you've cheered me up today already. So this has been a nice thing. So thank you guys.
And you're going on a cruise tomorrow.
And I'm going to cruise.
That has to be something. Like, there'll be just margaritas. They'll help you. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're good. Like.
However, do I have anything packed? No. Do I know where my passport is? No. Do I have any plans to? No. Like, so I'm not thinking about it yet. Yeah.
You know what I did with my passport, and it's the best thing I ever did, is I put an Apple tag with a bit of sellotape on the back.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
That's a great call.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Jay, what about you? What pissed you off this week?
I got ghosted. Pissed me off. Yeah, pissed me off. So got a text message off someone saying, hey, you've been recommended by this person. I need a shoot done. Can you give me a price? And I hate that, because like, no, I obviously can't give you a price off that text message. But I go back, because any lead I get in, I try and talk to them on the phone. Because as Sian said last week, email doesn't work. Like, I want to know the specifics. I want to know your deliverables. What do you want? That way I can give you an accurate price. If I just said, oh, it's €600 for half a day, they'd be like, oh, no, it's too much. But if I was to know, right, this is this, I can talk to them as well. I can sell them, and I can try and lock it in that way. So I said, look, what's your number? Let me give you a quick buzz. Now, I was working late here, so that was 7 o'clock, 7:30 phone call. Talked to them about 15, 20 minutes on the call, not even about 15 minutes, about what he wanted. It was a rush job. They were doing press soon. An article was happening and wanted a photo shoot done. I said, yeah, no problem. They were up the country, so they were going to send me the product. And they're like, yeah, perfect. All sounds great. Just send us the price. I sent them the price. I told them on the phone, and then I sent them the price, and then nothing since. I'm like, followed up with an email, followed up with 2 texts. Like, just say, look, man, that fell through. But the fact of the matter is, like, he was recommended by a mutual friend. That to me would make him say, look, give me a reason why. Like, but obviously now he doesn't care, so I don't know. So it pissed me off. So just say no. Just say no. Come here, it's not working. Thanks a million. Good luck. I won't get offended. Yeah. I don't give a shit. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's what pissed me off.
Have you done a bit of snooping though? Nothing's happened to them.
No, it does not. No, and their website's trash, to be honest. And like, I thought they'd gone with someone else, but they haven't done anything. So I don't know.
Well, anytime I get personally ghosted outside a professional, like I always assume that they've died. Like, it's the only reasonable. It's the only thing my mind go. And then a year later, I see them in town, and I'm like, oh my God, he must have come out of that coma. That poor man.
I love it. Sian, what pissed you off this week?
Do you know what? Not a lot pissed me off, because I was off. So, however, one thing niggled at me whilst I was away was, we're all trying to support, and I bang on about it, small business and everything for Christmas. And there was a few people I wanted to share things about this week, and I was trying to find them on Instagram to tell people about them and everything. The amount of people that don't have a full bio on Instagram is unbelievable. And the amount of people that don't write where they're based. So, like, if you have a common name with other businesses,
Instagram bio there as well.
I'm literally updating.
But so I wanted to sort of share a couple of businesses, and they've got like quite popular names. Oh my God, I gave up, because in the bios, they were so vague, but no one says where they're from either. Like, literally to the point of no one says island, some of them. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, come on, guys. That's a USP. So let's put it in. So yeah.
Does mine pass the test? So I have, in my personal one, it says filmmaker, photographer, Irish. Yeah. Right? But for Ad32, I think you like Ad32. It says brand storytelling through photo and video, based in Cork, shooting nationally, and then my email.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Perfect. Class.
Yeah, it's simple, isn't it? But especially with a common name or common, like a hairdresser's or something like that. For God's sake, tell people where you are. So yeah, I did a lot of not tagging this week, which is unusual for me. But yeah, I gave up.
Yeah.
And did you tell them after? Did you say
can't
this is
find
why I
them,
didn't
Jack.
tag you?
I can't find them to tell them.
This is the broadcast.
Yeah, this is just me saying to everybody, just go and check, because you might have missed out on a nice, bit of promotion there for nothing this week because people can't find you.
Yeah. It's it's funny because you talk about the name thing, and I was getting loads of DMs recently where it was like, thanks, sir. Thanks, bro. And I was like, my hair is getting a bit longer now, and I do have boobs, so I was like, let's figure this out. And I replied to one of them, and I was like, do you mind me asking, do you think I'm a man? And they replied, and they were like, Brian ? And I was like, it's my surname.
Oh, hilarious. Brilliant. I love it.
Yeah.
That's
So
hilarious.
yeah, that's what throws people sometimes.
I get that too, though, with Sian, Sian, Sean. They're completely bemused.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm on enough. But yeah, we love a bit of spam.
I know. Because my brother always says it happens to him or both my brothers, because it looks like they're saying a double barrel name, and people, and your surname? They're like, yeah, the Brian part. But yeah, no, it's good. In terms of what pissed me off this week, I had a different one. I'm switching to my issue yesterday, which was absolute chaos. But essentially, this guy created an Instagram account, and he has multiples of them. I came across loads of them afterwards. He's using his real name though. So anyway, and he's DMing people with a website he's totally built around me. My face is on it, my stats are on it, everything, telling people that he grew my Instagram account and trying to charge people thousands of dollars to grow their account. So I did some internet digging. Okay, so I went down. This is me in bed at 11 o'clock last night, by the way. So this is knee deep under the duvet. I'm gonna get this fucker. So I ended up finding his phone number and realized I texted him, and I was like, right, he's replying in Spanish. He doesn't know what I'm saying. So ChatGPT open in one browser, translating everything for me and replying back and forth. Sent a message just being like, hey, just to let you know, I am Jen Bryan, the account that you're pretending to have grown, and sent all the screenshots. I was like, this is not real. Can you please remove it and all of this? And he replied, he was like, this is completely true. Which client are you? And I was like, no, 'tis I. And
oh my God, Morto.
And he was like, this isn't my fault. The agency I work for makes us do this. There's thousands of accounts out here. We just pick people at random, and, we can't get testimonials. I sent a scathing message. He was like, I tried to reach out to you on Instagram for a testimonial. You said no. I was like, probably because you don't fucking work for me. And oh my God. But anyway, essentially, just be careful out there. It took me, I think it was I ended up finding 7 different accounts tied to them.
Oh my God.
And it was just a nightmare. But essentially, there's these agencies out there that I'd say hire I felt kind of sorry for him in the end, because I was like, this poor young lad is actually probably just working from an agency somewhere out I think it was somewhere in South America. And they clearly just almost bot farmed this situation out, where they're creating landing pages featuring people with bigger accounts. And he'd been screenshotting my account for months because it was all in Spanish. So he must have been looking at it from his account. And it was when I was at 40,000, 50,000, 60,000, moving through the growth and what they did and everything else. And it was just I actually was a little bit scared. I was like, oh my God, if there's one and someone alerted me to it, there's more.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
That is really scary. And isn't it funny, because you've got that at one end of the scale, And then actually, I thought you'd talk about that today. I took this picture. This annoys me just as much. Hey, Sian, how are you? Would you like me to grow you to 30,000 comments, likes, impressions, Instagram, and we'll get loads of attraction? So I just replied to her because she's got 1.6 thousand followers. Yes, no problem. I'll follow you. And when you do it, I'll be in contact. I was like, are you for real? Go away.
Yeah. But Jen, do you think the thing with those kind of guys and the kind of bots and you see all that kind of thing happening, like if he messaged me, that to me is spam immediately and it's deleted. Like, are there people out there that fall for that stuff and pay that money?
Well, to be honest, I won't say who messaged me, but the person who did message me was already at maybe 45,000. They were clearly being pitched that it's that 40k to 100k mark. So like anyone who's at that 40 to 50k mark is kind of like you're eyeing up how quick you can get to 100 at that point for sure. And like our conversation was very simple. He was like, hey, I have someone selling me some Instagram service. And he said, he's the one who made your account grow. Can you please confirm this? Because I would like to work with someone, obviously. And then I said, no. And then I was like, can I just have screenshots of all of this? And he was like, thanks so much for replying to me. Because like someone obviously is looking for, if you're looking for someone to work with, and then someone comes in with the perfect piece of information for what you're looking for, you can see how people would have the conversation at least.
Now, Jen, I'd have to ask you, did you close him? Did you become his mentor?
No, I stay away from organic marketing. It's a nightmare.
It is. It is, to be fair.
Yeah.
Class.
Okay, we'll jump into Teach Me Something New. Judie, what's your Teach Me Something New of the week?
Oh, jeepers. I think last in our first recording of this, I'll go back to that one because again, my brains are not screwed on tightly today. But with the group that I was actually training, we spent a lot of time figuring out how to get their aesthetic to look nice, because they're a very luxury brand and, it can be hard to replicate that in phones sometimes. But using cinematic mode, if you have an iPhone 13 or higher, just turn on your phone, switch or turn on camera, and then just scruggle through, like there'll be video, photo, portrait, and then there'll be an option saying cinematic. And what that does is it's like a digital blurriness in the background of your photos. Now you have to kind of keep tapping on the screen to put what you want in focus, because it will kind of automatically adjust to what it thinks should be in focus. And and then Jay had a very good tip as well that I'm just going to steal and repurpose, Jay. But if you press the F button on the top right as well when the cinematic mode is open, that's your F stop, which is a traditional camera thing. But you can actually change that. You can change the amount of blurriness that you want. And Jay was saying 5.6 is the optimal kind of amount of blurriness that you should have on iPhone. So I'd like to see anyone who's listening to this upload a nice shot of in cinematic mode. Especially nice if you've got something close up like a cup on your desk. Try something like that because the look is really nice, and then upload it to your Instagram and tag us in it because we'd love to see your lovely cinematic shots.
Sharon. And Jude, how do they do that?
Yeah, so put on your camera. And then do you have your camera on you there, Sian?
I do.
Yeah, and do you have an iPhone 13 or higher?
I do.
Brilliant. Okay, so just turn on
Ticking
camera.
all the boxes.
Brilliant.
I know.
And can you see cinematic mode? So you go from video, photo, portrait. Can you see cinematic appear somewhere?
So if I go into settings?
No, just on your normal camera.
Up the camera.
Open up the camera.
Okay, I'm in camera.
Yeah. And then at the bottom, there's video, photo, slow-mo. Can you see all those options? Can you see a cinematic
This is for
mode?
this is for iPhone, folks. That's for iPhone only.
Yeah, iPhone only.
No, I just have pano, portrait, photo, video, slow-mo, or time-lapse. And that's the 13 plus.
And that's the 13 plus.
It was 14.
Was
14.
It?
Oh no, it was 13 plus it's cinematic.
No, because I checked it because I actually told them to go and buy a 13 plus. But you know what? I wonder, is it something in settings that hasn't been updated or that hasn't been enabled? Let me look into that, Sian.
Okay.
Else and I'll come back.
We'll come back to that next week.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, class.
Perfect. And I had all those notes written down as well. I was ready to go. 5.6. Brilliant.
Nice.
Yeah.
Jay, what about you?
throwback to last week when I was stuck. There was a podcast happening up here in this room, so I was in Take 9. So I headed down to the studio to record the podcast with the class lights and everything behind me. But my microphone wasn't great. It was kind of it was picking up too much or something. It was weird. So I reacted fast. Oh, and my phone is gone. I reacted fast and used my phone as my microphone. So that was my tip, because the microphone on the iPhone is actually really good. So if you're stuck on a Zoom or you're stuck for a podcast quickly, you can now select, if you're working on a Mac, you can now select your iPhone as your microphone or your camera.
Nice.
Which is super handy, because the solid, I recorded a full podcast with my phone as the audio. So that's my tip.
Nice.
And
nice.
Google it. Just Google it or YouTube it. I'm not going. Shan, Google it. I'm not telling you how to do it.
It's like I'm ready with my phone. My teach is actually, because this made me laugh, because when I thought about what we were talking about, I was really struggling video and remotely the other day, and I had my earpods in and whatever, and you actually did that teach, and my phone was just sitting on the side, and I was like, why didn't I pick up my phone and use it as a microphone that day? And it's, I suppose, so my teachers, be aware of what is slapping you straight in the face.
Yeah.
And remember, because I think we're all prone to doing this, aren't you? I'm always, do what I say, not as I do. I think that would be my lesson this week, is to, when something's straight in front of you, do it. Because I didn't even think about it the other day. It just made me laugh when we came off that call, and I was like, why didn't I use my phone? This is crazy. Anyway, I have ordered the same microphone as Judie now, because she's completely influenced me. So next week I'm going to sound so good. I'm going to sound like an M&S advert.
I love it. And you can log into Squadcast directly from the phone as well. Just a handy one on the go for anyone if you're stuck. What might teach me something new? So video metrics. So I think I might have even said it in a previous episode, but I was always working off the assumption that my posts would only go viral if the save count was higher than the like count, first and foremost, and the watch rate was more than 45%. If those two things were true, then it would typically get more than 1 million views. So for every 1.5 to 2 likes, or 2 saves, we should say, it was usually quite weighted towards the saves. But then what I realized with my most recent video, which is now the best performing video that I've ever put out, the save rate wasn't higher than the like rate, but the comments plus the saves added together, that total number was much, much higher, triple the volume of the like rate. And it seems that those two metrics combined will also have the same effect. I didn't really understand the weighting of the comments prior to that. So essentially, when you're looking at the metrics for your videos, the most important thing is view rate being higher than about 45%. Anything that has performed really well for me goes above the kind of 60% mark. The comment thing actually probably aided that, because I was enticing people to comment, and by virtue of commenting, the video was looping in the background. That's why you always see those short little videos, read my caption. You're either stuck reading the caption or commenting while the video is looping in the background. So that's one thing. And then the information is valuable enough to save. So those kind of key things. So how I structure a video now very much comes down to that. So I look at, trying to keep it within 30 seconds or less. I'll have a really kind of sensationalist hook, I would say. Then I'll dive into the problem or the action that you're going to have to take to get to the solution. So it might be, here's the hook, comment blah, blah, blah below to get blah. Or it might be, hook, do you have this problem? Then the solution, and then a really tight wrap up. And the reason I'm structuring it like that is because the hook and problem, people are listening. Now we're at 45%, solution, save. I'm structuring it to the metrics, if that makes sense. So think about those metrics when you're editing and looking at the content that you're putting together and how you structure each segment. That makes sense.
Perfect sense. Yep. and even like, you know, like what you're doing now with your strategy of getting people to comment, and then, you know, like that's sending them a DM immediately with, you know, your subscriber link to subscribe and stuff like that. Like I'm watching this happen, Jen, and I could be following you. Like I could be doing this like tomorrow. Yet, like you're doing it tomorrow, and then you're improving it tomorrow, and the day after, I'm keep putting it off, and I'm like, wow, like you were just the strategy that you're putting on top of everything that you're building into everything is just it's second to none. Like it's so incredible, and you know, I really just need to kick myself up the ass and actually do these things that you're actually telling me to do, because they're working right before my very eyes, and it's brilliant. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I document everything, like, and I'm always open to sharing all of that as well. So I'll ship stuff over if anyone's interested. But I have like spreadsheet. You know me, I love a good spreadsheet. But it has like the video, the script, the view rate, the like everything. Because I actually download that spreadsheet and I'll import it into ChatGPT to have a conversation with it for my next script, so that it can pull from my past data to continue the learning cycle, which is kind of level 2. Once you start the spreadsheet, you know, you can start using the spreadsheet. But it's an interesting way of looking at it. But
nice.
Yeah,
I'm actually more interested. So Judie said something there, and that she keeps putting it off, and how you're improving. What day are you on?
What day am I on?
Yeah.
I think 191.
Okay, so Judie, you are comparing day 191 with your day 1.
Yeah.
So just start before she's on day 323.
I know, and she is going to be, and it's going to be like, well, then you just plug the little bit into the blah, 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 and then the ABC, and then I'll be like, no, you've gone too far. You're just about to the part where I can maybe replicate what you're doing, but like I know that you're gonna go beyond that very soon. But I suppose what gets me, lads, and I don't know if it's the same for you as well, right? But it's like, you know, like Instagram, like growing on Instagram was never really a goal of mine and stuff like that. But what I do see is that that's all anyone else actually cares about. Like they're comparing you to other people's Instagram, like, and I don't know. And then I'm like, maybe I shouldn't be focusing on Instagram. Maybe I should be focusing on YouTube. And then I'm like, do you know what? Maybe I'll just make a cup of tea and just stare into space.
Well, do you know the reason why I started? And this is just a sign of sheer stubbornness. I was giving advice to a client, and like Sian with the DM that she got, they were like, yeah, but you didn't. And I was like, I'm the shoemaker with no shoes dishing out this advice. I was like, give me 100 days.
Yeah.
Judie, I can relate to you as well. I think it comes down to, and by all means, I'm not saying, like, as a creative, you want to create some. I feel lately with some content I'm making it to put it out on Instagram. Mm-hmm. I'm not making it because I wanted to make it and I had fun making it. Like there's days where I'm like, oh fuck, I didn't make a video. I have to go make a video. What would I make a video for? Okay, this, and then I'll go. And that's not how you do it. I think that's not how this works, because it comes off as fast. It's cheap. It's like, it's not insincere. Like, but if you could tell, like, if you're all in and you want to make it, you would have no problem making it. You would have had a plan, and you would have batched, and you would have, you know what I mean? There's planning. So like, I think a lot of, and me, I'm guilty of it. A lot of people who create content for Instagram and social media, they're reacting. They're not acting. Mm-hmm. So they're reacting to something like you just said, well, Jen's doing it, so I have to do it. And you're reacting to Jen, where you need to be going, well, I need to do this because I want to do this, not because I see Jen blowing up, so I want to blow. Do you know what I mean? And I'm the same. I've looked at Jen and thought, well, I have to steal her hook now, and I have to do this and I have to do that. But like, if we're not into it, it's gonna it's not gonna get made. Like, you know yourself. Like, you just have to turn that gear back on and going, yeah, look, this is what I want to do, and I'm having fun doing it, kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
I think it depends on what you're selling as well. You know, at the end of the day, Jen sells this. She better be good at it. You know,
yeah.
You sell something different. I sell something different. So, but I am 100% in agreement with Jen. She's at the top of her game professionally. So she needs to show it to her clients. That's who I am. I want to see, like, if you're telling me I should be doing this, you better be doing it. You know, it's like me, like, never getting on a reformer machine, and I tell everybody else to do so. Like, it's bizarre. So, so yeah, but it was only that Judie said the comparison that I pulled it up, because anybody that's listening that is comparing needs to remember on what day they're at and what chapter they're at and everything else, and not to let it stop them in their tracks.
Yeah.
And just have fun with it.
Yeah, for sure. And day 1 to 45 is absolutely bleak. So good luck. So yeah, you got to stick with it. Let's dive into goals for the week ahead. Judie, what's your goal for the week ahead?
I'm going on a cruise.
Nice.
Honestly, do you know what my goal is? Like, because I'm going with my mum, and you know, I'm kind of like her travel secretary as well. You know, I've got her passport and all of her stuff in my bag with me. So, like, you know, there's always just that huge sigh of relief when I actually get on, and I'm like, okay, we're here. And especially since like COVID restrictions now, it's a little bit easier. But we went on one last year, but geez, the hoops that we had to jump through just to get away. So this year I'm like, just get me there. And also she woke up this morning and was like, come on, we have to go to the airport. And I was like, we're not going today. And then I was like, are we going today? Oh my gosh, I've been so sick. I don't know what's going on. So just getting to there with the equipment that I need, because obviously I have to take a little bit of work with me, and remembering just like passport and basics. If you hear from me Friday night or Saturday and all is good, I'll put a thumbs up in the group. You'll know that I have successfully passed this week in terms of mission. Yeah.
Love it. Jay, what about you?
Class. I have a few shoots tomorrow. I have 3 shoots tomorrow, 3 photo shoots and a video shoot. Sorry, so I have 4 shoots tomorrow. So it's getting through that. Basically, just get through that, and then it's a quick turnaround time for that, because they want it obviously before and for Christmas. So realistically, it's editing a lot early next week. So that's that'd be it. Like, very
good. Sian, what about you?
I've got busy few days, having a few days off. Yours catching up, aren't you? So tomorrow I'm interviewing Chupi, a huge fan, so I'm very, very excited to facilitate that. Probably be my highlight next week. And then I'm up to Gifted and a couple of local fairs up in Dublin at the weekend, just to support local. I will get that message across. And I'm waiting on a response for a national campaign as an influencer. So it'd be my 3rd one this year, which would be a lovely way to finish 2023. So fingers crossed I get that.
Nice one. Well, I had it was great to chat to Judie on Monday. So we had a call and I picked her brain on a YouTube strategy. So first of all, thank you very much. And second of all, I just need to wrap it up, get it nailed down. I'm in the like early planning stages. So like before I did anything on Instagram, I spent a few months looking at creators, mapping out their content, looking at their structure, looking at their flow. So I'm knee deep in that world at the moment for my YouTube strategy. But picking Judie's brain was definitely hugely beneficial. And yeah, I'm looking forward to plaguing her with my first video.
And I cannot wait.
Nice.
And can I bring something back here as well? Because I had a great chat with Jen as well. Managed to pick her brain on a lot of things. But do you remember in our first episode, you almost fell off the chair when I spoke about Wix, right? Okay. I'm gonna rein you back in here. Okay, right? I started off on WordPress. It was the worst experience of my whole entire life. I did a website. Did I update it once in 3 years? No. The information stayed the same. I couldn't even log in. Every time I logged in, I was like, I hate it. This is shit. As soon as I moved to Wix, I was like, it's like Canva. I love it. I drag drop. Everything is lovely. It's just really easy to use, really easy to follow. So I think for people who are very much on their own and have to do everything on their own, I do think that Wix is a nice way to go. But what I was asking Jen about was the fact that Google, and Jen, like I'd much actually rather you explain this, but the fact that Google ads, you can't really get as good with Wix because Wix has such a slow page, right? Mm-hmm. But then Jen was saying, now I'll actually ask you to talk about that, Jen, because I think that a lot of people will benefit from this. So can I give over to you there to...
Sure, yeah. So we were talking about running Google ads against Judie's course, but I was saying that, okay, so when you bid on Google ads, let's say if I put €1 on a keyword for a CapCut course, let's say, and Judie puts €2, you'd expect that Judie would get the number 1 position because she's willing to pay more. However, that's not the case because Google actually puts emphasis on what they call a quality score, which is the experience the user has from the advert through to the landing page. And because Judie's on Wix, I could actually get the top place, even offering less money because my quality score might be higher. But Judie doesn't want to move from Wix. She loves it. So there is like a piece of the puzzle that you can put in the middle. It's called an Unbounce page. And it's essentially a high-speed landing page that we can send people to. And then when all the information is on the page, and then they can click add to cart or go through the course process, and it flips over to the Wix site then from there. So we're actually putting like a barrier between Google Ads and Wix so that it thinks everyone's having a great experience. And it could reduce her cost per click by up to 80%.
Wow.
Isn't that so cool? Like, I'm
And
so
are you
glad.
building, where are you building the landing page, Jen?
It's called unbounce.com.
Oh, it actually is. The site is called Unbounce. Okay, apologies. Okay.
Yeah. And if you are building a landing page on anything, the Unbounce blog is a phenomenal resource to give you industry specs. So if you're like in the fitness industry, you can go to the fitness section of their blog and they will continually update like the best performing lead gen pages for fitness and all of these different versions of things. So you can actually just utilize it as a service to build on WordPress or wherever else you want as well. But if you want a high-speed landing page that'll cut your costs, we just use Unbounce for everything.
Class.
Anytime a client comes to us with a crap website but wants ads, we're like, yeah, perfect, but Unbounce.
Unbelievable.
Nice.
Unbelievable.
Nice.
I'm so happy that there's a solution. Yeah, go ahead, Jay.
I meant to say, throw back to the whole wanting to create the content for you, wanting to create the content. I don't know if you saw my post about a week ago. I made a video call about audio.com, their website where you can copy. I think we talked about it. Copy and paste a song. Yeah. They saw the video. They reached out to me, said we loved it. And they gave me a affiliate code and they gave me a 200 euro membership for free.
Oh, amazing.
Saying, hey, we loved it. Continue to keep making content. Please use our stuff. If you mention us, great. So it does, like that kind of stuff. It comes across that if you want to, because I did see it and I thought, I love this. I want to share this. And then I did. And it was a nice payoff.
And I showed it to my clients the other day, and it is now lives in my slide deck as one of my slides. So amazing. Thank you.
But even the sound effects, everything is super handy. Like they're the really good quality stuff as well. Like
brilliant.
I try to get moved to try to get them for a sponsor.
So absolutely. And so Judie, that should set you off really well, because I know we were chatting in the same episode actually about you reaching out to the cruise company, and we were saying just go and make those beautiful videos anyway. Exactly. So we'll be waiting to see them.
Yeah. Oh God, I better put my mouth where my money is, or whatever it is.
Brilliant. We'll wrap it there. Thanks so much, everyone, for listening. As always, if you have any feedback, feel free to give any one of the four of us a shout, and we will see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Review and rate us. Bye.